Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from unreal to real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Spiritual quest and its demand. Each of us have been practicing spirituality for more than 4 decades at least, and now still we are discussing, but it is always fresh subject. Spiritual quest. What does it mean? Spiritual quest is a journey into the superconscious realm. It's understanding one's true nature or what we truly are, probing into oneself, inquiring into one's true nature. That is the quest for spirituality. It takes, since human beings are of various different nature, there is so much of variation in our nature, habits, thinking, culture. Many things contribute. Hence, the spiritual quest also takes different ways. It's expressed in different ways, innumerable ways. Generally, for example, if a very highly qualified aspirant who has all the necessary demands that the spiritual life needs, for such a person, when something is given, even in a small mantra or whatever it is, like for example, the great statements, thou art that, gets it from the Guru. Immediately, the person realizes how the person is able to grasp both thou and that. What is meant by thou and what is meant by that. The understanding is so clear. The sadhaka, the aspirant is so receptive, very clear. There is no cluttering of ideas in the mind, very clear, crystal clear mind. Hence, immediately, as soon as, in Shankaracharya says, Sakrit Shravana Matrena, as soon as one hears it, Brahmajnanam Metta Bhavet, knowledge of Brahman comes. How? Highly competent candidate. Hence, that happens. And we have seen in the history of religion, great masters, prophets, how quickly they realize. Because they form a class themselves. It's okay. But with the generality of humankind, it's a very long drawn process. The proper spiritual quest may take even lives to understand what actually I need, what I want, what is that I'm seeking. Even to understand it takes quite a bit of time, depending upon the competence of the aspirants. And for most people, this world and its pleasures, that's enough. That's of great importance. They're happy with that, they're satisfied with that. They don't bother to inquire anything about it further. They don't want, that's fine, they're happy with that. But it is not so with all. There are some people who keenly feel and thirst for something higher, eternal, infinite. But the great master says, one day or the other day in life of every individual must come a time when they will ask themselves the credentials of their senses and the sense objects. Is this all there? Is there anything more? Is this real? We have been struggling hard to establish ourselves, to hoard, keep things, all the struggle to acquire, to possess, all with one call of the great deliverer, devourer, the time, the great time. Everything comes to an end. So thinking people inquire. They put existential questions. Not that they're fully qualified, but they have got the ability to think. That in itself is a great thing. How many people just live at the instinctive level? Even the so-called, what we think, educated, who take the position of ruling, leading the country, look at the way they are doing. Do you think they are human beings? Do you think they, because human beings, I believe, are guided by reason. But this is instinctive. Animals fight. And this is worse than animals will say, don't compare these people to us. The animals will say, no, we should not compare them. They're worse than that. Where has the reason gone? So they are not human beings. Human beings, the first condition, human beings are at the level of reasoning. Animals are at instinctive. Humans are in reason, at the level of reasoning. And of course, the angels, the good ones, the noble ones, are at the intuitive level. Intuition is there for them. They understand. But human beings, amazing. Anyway, that's not our subject. We don't have to worry about it. So thinking minds always inquire into the nature of life and reality in the past, in the present, in the future. Thinking people will always, as long as there is such a thing called as death, disease, old age, as Buddha said, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So question will arise. If we are thinking people, that's very important. And again, there are people who are naturally calm, not very attached to, or they have got a certain degree of detachment. I've seen wonderful people, very nice, very simple, no pomp and show or anything, calm and quiet. They don't go in search of amusement and waste their energy, but yet they don't have the idea of something noble, something eternal, something spiritual is there within them. They haven't. Like Sri Ramakrishna's life, we see Vidyasagar, wonderful man, highly ethical, highly moral, compassionate, man of learning, Vidyasagar, ocean of learning, well versed in Sanskrit and scriptures, but hasn't grasped the essence of scripture. Sri Ramakrishna says, Vidyasagar hasn't still understood that there is the treasure in his heart. God exists in the heart of every man. The treasure is there, but he hasn't yet understood that. He's very happy going around teaching the boys, educating the boys. I'm not saying that it is bad. No, from the standpoint of a spiritual aspirant, even that is falls short. For a spiritual aspirant, certain very important things are required. That is insight, thinking capacity, the capacity to put existential questions. This is how the mind works at the spiritual level. They're happy doing good to others, doing good, caring for the society, caring for the community, which is all fine. That's good. It's better than going and fighting. So that's good. But it is not, and Sri Ramakrishna says, many people need a lot of time to engage themselves in this karma yoga, is unselfish work, so that the mind gets purified and inquires. Inquiry is very, very essential. And so this shows that the truth of the self is not available to all. And even if one gets to hear about it, all cannot comprehend. You need a different texture of the mind. Like in Gita, Sri Krishna says, Shrinantopyena Vedana Chaiva Kashchit. Shrinantopi, about it. Some have heard about it and they feel very surprised. Ashcharyavat Pashyati. And then someone speaks of this is a great secret with wonder. And people having heard, though hearing, do not understand it. That means to say people's capacity to understand varies so much. That's why Sri Krishna in the Gita says, out of thousands of people, only a few take to spiritual life. And out of that little fewer still really attain to the highest superconscious realization. And Shankara says, 3 things are necessary. You have heard about it. First, a human birth, and then capacity, an interest, or to know about oneself. There's mumukshutva, to understand, and a guiding, a highly evolved soul to guide. These things are very important, very necessary. And this, if anyone has, it's only due to the grace of God, he says. Only God, by God's grace, we have human birth. Of course, doesn't mean to say the psychophysical organism. As I said, human life without reason is no human life at all. Human beings without reason, without rationality, nothing. We can't claim ourselves to be humans. And then, so body means the capacity, the rationality should be there. And the desire to know, the inability to inquire, to put intelligent question, to dive deep into oneself and find out what is substantial in me, what is not permanent, to understand this viveka, discernment, and then humility to go seek and to listen. You may say, open the YouTube, Mataji, you will get hundreds of talk. That is not helping. It's only information. Information, we should never, information and knowledge are not same. Information is information. Many can speak wonderfully, but lived life, that is important. Knowledge comes from living. Information and living, both are 2 different things. They are not same. Then, is it enough to have all these 3? Many of us have. Still, we are quite far away from the truth. Why? That's a very, very important. This is called as what spiritual quest demand. Spiritual quest and its demand. What does spiritual life, spiritual quest demands? Not much. It doesn't demand much. It demands only one thing. Only one thing is needed. What? Sincere aspiration. Intense aspiration. Aspiration is what is very, very important. That one thing will bring every other thing. That will, a person endowed with, will have all the necessary qualification, provided we have this intense, sincere aspiration. So intense, sincere aspiration is the demand of spiritual quest. That's the only demand. Sri Ramakrishna says, he used to call it Vyakulata. Yearning. That's what matters. Everything else will come out. How he compares the yearning of a child for its mother. Supposing a little child misses its mother, mother is not there, finished, over. You create the top of the vase. You cannot cajole it. You may give something, a sweet meat, a toy. It will see like this, again throw away. And it will weep, cry, go into tantrums until it's taken to its mother. This sort of yearning the child has for its mother, that is the high or intensity of aspiration that a spiritual aspirant is required. That is the demand. And supposing, and even this spiritual aspiration varies according to our evolution. Some may have faintly, one can hear the inner voice, and some very clearly. Those souls who understand, hear this voice, they wake up from the deep slumber of ages, eons, and then they wake up to the reality and they work on themselves. But others, very faintly, they hear. And so questions are there, doubts are there. Whole life is spent only in discussing. Spiritual life means discussion. Always discussing, discussing, discussing. This author said this, that author said this. Hey, what happens? He made 1,000 people may say 1,000 things, but what does it help me? How does it help me? It's I am important. I have to work on it. Spirituality means discussing about quoting. Quoting is not spirituality. Spirituality is putting one's life into test, holding on to higher values with tenaciously, because there is every moment the world of senses, the world variegated universe is drawing, the five senses. Shankaracharya says, some of the animals meet their, death by, due to one of their senses. Like for example, deer has this sense of hearing. It becomes very steady to hearing any music or anything, something beautifully, and then the predator will come, catch. Elephant, touch, bee, taste, firefly, color, like, and we human beings have got five senses, all drawing us away from us, from our center of consciousness. They're dragging us. How hard it is. So if by God's grace, if we have some aspiration, some sort of spiritual taste for, attraction for higher things, for spiritual things, we should take ourselves to be blessed and work upon it steadfastly. We have to strive hard to hold on to these things. We have to grow inch by inch every day. So Sri Ramakrishna, as he says, this intense aspiration is the one that is needed. What are the functions? How does aspiration or yearning help in our spiritual life? How does it meet all its demands? First thing is, it motivates. See, people take initiation, they come to spiritual life, and after some time, the first few waves of novelty or was gone, finished, everything becomes cold. Then you have to keep on pushing them to practice spiritual, do your japa, do your spiritual practices. So much has to be told. Why? Why does it happen? In 50s and 60s in India, we had some type of cars, These cars used to go in the road and suddenly in the middle of the road, it will stop. Then the people, its occupants have to come out and give a push. Then this car will start. as if promising to go further. And then it will go further again and then stop. Once it happened for us, we wanted to go to Baswangudi Ramakrishna Ashrama. Nobody to take us. So one young girl she was learning to drive, I think so, or whatever it is. She said, Mataji, we will take you. I was still brahmachari at that. We all went. It happened in the middle of the Baswangudi road. The car stopped. It's a very busy street. And all of us had to come. We brahmachari is pushing the car and she is trying to start it. And then, yeah, get in. All of us got in. And then we went for maybe 10 minutes again. So we had to do, and in the ashrama, when we started, it is not at all starting. Car is not at all moving. Then we said, thank you. You keep your car, come, let's go by bus. Then we left the car there and we went by the public transport. And then later on, she got it. So this happens. So this is this sort of thing. Like this only our spiritual life also goes. We'll start a few days, nice. Very good mood is there, nice. We feel happy. Then afterwards, slackens. This goes off. This sort of thing happens always. So what it shows is we are trying to push, but there is no pulling. Just pushing won't do. There should be a pulling also. So for that, what are we to do? God has to draw us. So for that, prayer. We take to spiritual life, we aspire for spiritual things, yet we do not have the aptitude for prayer. It's very difficult because much depends upon the higher power. So we have access to it. And if we truly feel our spiritual aspirations are genuine and we need our spiritual progress, prayers are bound to come. It doesn't need for aspiration. Our very need. Supposing a person is thirsty, you give him a wonderful piece of pizza or burger. Do you think that person will love to eat it? All he wants is water. So it's like that. If we really thirst for spiritual life, then the prayer will come out by itself. The very need, the sheer need will bring out the prayers from our heart. If that doesn't happen, that means to say we are not yet. Because spiritual aspiration, these intense aspirations, it cannot be taught. It is not teachable. It has to come from one's within. Somebody may help you, guide you, give you motivation and all that, but it is something very intense. It's from one's own life. It has to come. That prayer has to come. So it should be self-starting, self-supporting. Only then we will progress in our spiritual quest. And what does it, the other functions of spiritual aspiration is, it gives higher direction to all our mental energies. Our lives usually are spent more or less in an unconscious way. It's our unconscious mind which is holding our conscious life. In spite of our effort, we just think some things which we don't have control over it. That means we are still under the control of unconscious. We haven't brought the conscious mind under our control. This can be done once if one has intense aspiration. It will bring all the energies together and make us to live intensely present, be at present. We become very alert and invest all the energies that are available for us in this path. And then the same thing, scattered powers of the will are brought together. Focus. See, what seems to be real for us has its impact on us. It draws our attention. It draws our energy. It draws us completely. So if spiritual aspiration is real, then spiritual life becomes very real. Then we feel that we are progressing, we can do it, and we try our best to save the energies and apply to it. All our, it has to go together. Our work must have some meaning with our spiritual life, our social connections with people, that should have some spirit with our a connection with our spiritual life. It brings all this together, and so what happens is the energy is not wasted, mental energy is not wasted. We have to invest the exact energy or time or what is needed. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, if you want to buy a cloth and if it costs 100 rupees, you have to pay 100. You cannot bargain. No. So we have to pay. This capacity to give the full mind, that comes through aspiration, through true aspiration. And it saves time also. In spiritual life, what is needed is not hours together sitting and doing japa, half-minded, thinking other things, going everywhere. And then, oh, I was sitting for a japa. So if the aspiration is there, if the love of God is there, if mind is drawn to one's real nature, then even sitting 15 minutes, deeply thinking about our true nature or our Ishta is enough. We had one Swami in Mysore, Swami Sambhavanandaji. In Mysore, there's a very big institution of Ramakrishna, moral education, something. It's a wonderful job he has done. And he used to, our Mataji used to say that he was very um, hardy person, but he was by willpower. Physically, he wasn't that much, and he had to work hard for it. He would say, morning, an hour of deep meditation would give him all the energy required for the work, because work was connected with his spirituality. There was no difference, and he could just an hour of meditation, deep meditation, would give enough energy for him the whole day to work. See how? So what is needed is the quality, not the long time. So in spiritual life, so essential thing is one, that is aspiration. Now, why don't people all do not feel the same kind of aspiration? One disciple asked Holy Mother, Mother, is it possible to love God without seeing his, what do you call, manifestation of love or grace or manifestation of love? How is it possible? Holy Mother says, yes, it's possible. Therein lies the grace of God. So it is through the God's grace that one has aspiration. And it's spontaneous. It becomes a little spark of aspiration in one's life. It to a great, the divine grace that will inflame the soul, and it becomes quicker. And as I told you, Mahapurush Maharaj always, once he said to the disciple, a devotee, he was pleading him to bless him. He said, what else is there with us other than blessings? Blessing alone is there, but that won't do. You have to aspire for it. You have to sincerely call on God. You pray to him. Even he used to say, weep for God. Why? Because we know how the children, if they want anything, they start screaming in the shopping complex. I've seen many kids going into tantrum. Poor parents, what they do? So immediately they will give in. So that's the best way to do. Bala Rudhiram Balam. For the children, what is the strength? Their crying is the strength. The more they can cry, the louder they can cry, the quicker they get their results. So in spiritual life also, we are no better than children. We may think that we are very big men and women. No, no, we are nothing but we are babies as far as spirituality is concerned. So there's nothing wrong. We don't have to cry in front of people and show how earnest we are, how much of yearning we have. But in our hearts of heart, we can shed tears at the feet of God. You don't have to even bring the tears out. The very soul will weep if it needs. If it, what is needed is this awakening. We should wake up to the reality. How long are we still sleeping? How long? Creation of creation, creation after creation has gone. The senses are so strong. They don't allow you to think. Just imagine creation is constantly going on. We are just sucked in and thrown out, sucked in and thrown out. Jayasvam Riyasva, Jayasvam, being born and death, birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. Constant. This is one of in the 13th chapter, Shri Krishna speaks of jnana. 20 points he tells. These constitute the jnana. What is it? Janma Vrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Constantly remember Janma, birth. Birth is not a very happy thing. People may feel happy. Clap hand, I got a baby, the baby. When the baby cries, everyone is happy. But it's not a very good experience. Imagine when the baby comes out in the mother's womb, it had one temperature. When it comes out, how it suffers. It's a suffering. That is why it is in the suffering. First thing is janma. Then coming with this body into the world is one pain. Getting out of this body is another pain. What a terrible pain it is to get out of the body, to get out of this identification. This is happening again and again and again and again. Still, no. How intense. Sri Ramakrishna says, if a person like Sri Ramakrishna can tell, he says, speaking about the nature of love, when one gets love in the heart, he says, one forgets the world, let alone the world. One forgets even the body which is so dear to us. See, when Sri Ramakrishna says the word, we should very carefully understand what it means. One forgets even the body which is so dear to us. And so it is so dear. It's a very, very, painful experience to get out of the body. Until and unless at least we have the conviction that we are not this body. We are not this meatball. We are something different from it. At least this conviction has to become very, very firm in our intellect. Then a very smooth, very gracefully we can get out of it. If not, it's really real. So we have to, then Jara, old age. I have seen many devotees, they don't come and meet us as they grow old. They can't accept it. And then, of course, disease is there always, companion. And such is the Maya. It will never allow us to think in these lines. If we are our old devotees, you people are used to it, listening to this, so you are sitting very calmly and if it was some others, they would have gone out. People don't want to listen to this. It's very disturbing. It makes them very negative, pessimist. No, we don't have to be pessimist. We don't have to be optimist. We have to be Vedantist. We take up everything as it is. we value everything. We give due respect to everything. So neither we are optimist nor pessimist. We are realist. We are Vedantist. We take things as they are. Try to see the things in right perspective. He says, always remember and tell the mind. Only then the seeking will come. The spiritual quest will become steady when we think. And this is one way of thinking. The other is think of our true nature. The scriptures are there. Study of the scripture is very, very essential. Very essential. One of the in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Swadhyaya Pravachana, study and preaching. This never deviate from this. So study is very, very important. Study of the scriptures. The great sages have left the accounts of their experience. You see, these sages, great sages, they lived in such a high realm. It was so difficult for them to come back to our normal day-to-day life. But why did they come and do all this? Why did they write? For the posterity, so that all of us can go towards the reality which is within us. So scriptures have to be read in the same spirit as they are written. Not reading the scripture so that I can give wonderful lecture. There are people who read. There are people who read, give talks, and write books, and they publish the books. They rob all the ideas from different people, and then they will publish a book writing that the author of this book, these ideas are mine. Such type of, what do you call, people are there, vain people. So the scriptures have to be read in the spirit that they have been written. So that is important. Only then the spirit of the scriptures can be understood. If not, it is very difficult. So many things are there. The scriptures are called grantha. Grantha means voluminous book, scriptures. Granthi means not. So if not, so if the scriptures are not read in true spirit, each grantha will become a granthi. Each book will become a knot. All the more knots will. Already we have enough knots. So the motive behind the study has to be understood. And how do we know that we have true aspiration? The test of aspiration is strength. It gives us strength to surmount all obstacles which are natural. Spiritual life means we are going against the current. Spiritual quest, the whole world goes in one direction. So it gets the help of the whole world. There are the world sense objects outside, drawing, giving satisfaction. So that's easy for them. But here in spiritual life, we are going against the current. Naturally, we'll have to swim a lot. We need a lot of energy. We need a lot of strength. A lot of obstacles will be there. So spiritual aspiration will give strength for us to surmount all these difficulties. And we will never be afraid of monotony. This is another one thing. Monotony is a big problem. And loneliness. So this aspiration, if we have a true aspiration, that in itself is sufficient. So we will not that monotony and loneliness will not come. It does come, but we will be able to face it. We will be able to overcome it. And by intensifying the aspiration. Again, then above all, the true aspiration produces intense longing and struggle for purity of the mind. Sri Ramakrishna has a beautiful parable in Sri Ramakrishna's life. He says, supposing those days, the servants and the master, this is how it used to be. The big zamindars used to be there. Sometimes if the master is pleased with the servant, and you can make out, and he intends to visit the servant's house, you can make out that all the mm, around surroundings of the house is all cleared, the jungles and the grasses, everything is cut and everything is made, and the master himself will send the carpet, hubble bubble, everything, and you will know that the master, somebody is going to come, some great person is going to come. In the same way, when true aspiration is there in us, that itself will give all the purity of the mind, concentration, um, taste in the divine name, and capacity to discern and to let go. These are the things. These are the ones which are very important in our spiritual life. All this will come when this wonderful spiritual aspiration, yearning comes into the heart through the grace of God. And Sri Ramakrishna says, supposing we do not have this aspiration, what can we do? How are we to get it? Sri Ramakrishna says, pray to God. God is wishful filling tree, Kalpataru. There is nothing that God cannot give. He can give, He will give. And it is true, He does give. He gives the strength, He gives us aspiration, He gives the strength for us to go, to steadfastly go in the quest of the spirit. Because spirit, we don't have to go, it is already there in us. All the obstacles that are there in the spiritual life, it will be cleared. And Swami Brahmananda used to say, this is how he used to ask us to pray. Pray to God, oh Lord, please be gracious enough to remove all the obstacles that are in my path, that are there, so that I can reach you. You yourself, with your powerful hands, remove those obstacles and draw me closer to you. This type of prayer will give us more aspiration, give strength to intently search within ourselves and discover the spirit that's within, which is eternal, undivided, and blissful. Thank you.
So coming up, we've got yoga class this Thursday, got the spiritual evening discussion on Friday. Next Sunday, the Sunday edition of the Vedanta book club discussion. On the following Sunday, the 22nd of March, Gayatri Pranaji is going to start a new series of talks on the Yoga Sutras. She'll just be highlighting and commenting on some of the key verses in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The following Sunday, 29th, we've got Sri Rama's birthday celebration. And given that we're celebrating the birth centenary of our revered Mataji, what we'll do is show a video of Mataji's talk on Sri Rama's birthday way back in 2010. And Saptarshi Ray will be giving a talk as well. And we've now got a poster up on the wall with this special event coming up on the 17th of May, Sunday, 17th of May, an interfaith panel speaking on the theme From Inner Peace to World Peace. Again, that's a part of our celebrations, centenary celebrations, birth centenary celebrations of Mataji. Now we will conclude with a guided meditation, which I will conduct. And just give me a few minutes to get that ready.